Hello my dear student, today I am going to start third lecture of CBSE class 12 chemistry first chapter, that is solid state. So let's just begin it. Let's have a revision what we have done in last two classes and lectures. Then after I will start the new topic of today. So what we have seen that the matter exists in three different state, solid, liquid and gas. How they are different based on their difference in intermolecular force of attraction. On the basis of that, we have seen all the properties that vary in solid, liquid and gases. Next, from NCERT, I have marked few lines that what are the different characteristics which are possessed by the solid state. First is they have definite shape, volume and mass. Second is intermolecular distance are very short, that means they are very closely packed. Third is force is very strong, that's why they are very close. And next is that the constituent particles are located on their own position. They are not allowed to flow, only they can oscillate about their mean position. And they are incompressible and rigid, that means we cannot compress. Reason is that the space between the atoms are very negligible. We have done all this. After that, what we have seen, matter exists in three forms, solid, liquid and gas. And solid then exists in two different forms. One is crystalline and another is amorphous solid. This is the pictorial view, how the atoms are arranged in crystalline in a regular pattern and in amorphous random order. And based on this arrangement of atoms in crystalline and amorphous, they also possess different physical properties. This is another view, pictorial view or the microscopic view of a crystalline and amorphous solid. And this is the difference between crystalline solid and amorphous solid. Among that, the main difference and the important difference is anisotropic. Crystalline are anisotropic. What is crystalline solid? Atoms are arranged in a regular pattern. That means the arrangement is same throughout the crystal. So in whichever direction we will go, we will find different property. This is called anisotropic. Whereas amorphous, the atoms are arranged in complete random manner. That's why wherever you go, you will find similar physical properties. I hope this point are clear. Next, we have discussed about the difference in glass and quartz. Quartz are crystalline, whereas glass are amorphous. How this has happened, that I have also explained. Quartz, it is crystalline, that's why the arrangement is regular. And in amorphous, this is the quartz glass. When we heat crystalline solid and then cool it very rapidly, from crystalline we get amorphous solid. Next is a very important question from in-text, that is why glass is considered a super liquid. Another thing is glass is also called pseudo solid. Pseudo means false. They are not true solid. So one term is that super cool liquid, another term is pseudo solid. Please keep that in mind. Why we call that? Because amorphous solid, they have tendency to flow. Though it is very slow, but they flow. Example we have seen in glass window and door panes in a very old buildings. And then the difference between crystalline solid and amorphous based on anisotropic and isotropic, both I have explained. This is the pictorial view again, how the atoms are arranged in quartz and amorphous. Then this is the difference in tabular form that we have studied from NCERT. Please go through it. And the in-text question, all I have discussed. Only question number 3 I have given as a homework. So I will discuss it at the end of the class. This was the last in-text question that I have also discussed, that if the refractive index type of physical property, we see same value in all direction, that means that solid is what? Pseudo solid. Pseudo solid means amorphous solid. And amorphous solid, if we cut amorphous solid, we don't get a neat and clean cleavage. We get edges, rough edges. So let's start with the today's topic. We had a just very quick review of what we had done in last classes. So what we are going to study today? Today's topic is that different type of crystalline solid. This is actually what we are going to study in throughout the chapter. So we started as a matter which consists of solid, liquid and gaseous state. Then we studied solid exists in two different forms, that is in amorphous and crystalline. What we have studied, crystalline solid atoms are arranged in a very regular way and they are true solid. Amorphous atoms are arranged in a random manner. So they are pseudo solid, false solid, and also called supercooled liquid. Now crystalline solid also have different category. So we are going to discuss all the different categories along with the examples of crystalline solid. So let's start. Let me start this. Okay. So today I'm going to write it. Please have your pen and paper copy so that you also write it with me. So types of crystalline solid. It is mainly having four types. First is ionic solid. I'm not writing the solid. Next is metallic solid. And the next is covalent solid. And the next is molecular solid. All are types of crystalline solid. So we are going to study different properties. First property is, what are the constituent particles of this type of solid? Constituent particles. The constituent particles of ionic solid means ions, obviously ions, cations, anion, positive charge ions and negative charge ions. So constituent particles are ions, that is cations and anions. They make this ionic solid. Metallic solid. Metallic solid is made of metal atoms. They are made of metal atoms. Like iron, zinc, aluminium. These all make a metallic solid. Covalent. Keep that in mind. Covalent solid are mainly made by non-metal. I'm writing in a bracket. Non-metals can only make covalent solids. So what is covalent solid? We have studied in class 11 in chemical bonding chapter. Covalent is a bond where two atoms share their electrons to make a bond with each other. So that means on the basis of sharing, when a bond is formed, and with that bond when a solid is formed, it is called covalent solid. It is made up of non-metal atom. So I am writing non-metal atoms. They make covalent bonds, covalent bonded solid. Molecular solids are made up of molecules. So these are the constituent particle or the main particle which make this solid. So first property is done. Let's go with the second property. Second property is what kind of force of attraction this solid have, which make them a solid. What we have studied while differentiating the properties in solid, liquid and gas, that solid has a very strong force of attraction between two atoms. That's why they are held very closely, tightly with each other. So force of attraction. Force of attraction. So force of attraction in ions, two charges, positive charge and negative charge. What kind of force of attraction they will develop? Electrostatic force of attraction. I hope you all know that. Opposite charges attract each other by electrostatic force of attraction. Electrostatic force of attraction. Okay, in metallic, see, in metallic there is a metallic bond. I am just explaining it. Just a wait. What is metallic bond? Metallic bond. For that, just an example I am giving. Suppose I am having a metal like aluminum, right? This is a aluminum sheet, and a pure metal of aluminum sheet will be composed of aluminum atoms. Aluminum atom, aluminum atom, aluminum atom. They all will help each other. How they are going to help each other? By metallic bond. Who are making the metallic bond? See, what we have studied, who are metal? Metal are those who have a tendency to lose electron. And who are non-metal? Just we have studied in class 10. Non-metals are those who have tendency to gain the electron. So this is aluminum, this is metal, it has tendency to lose electron. How many electron aluminum has a tendency to lose? It is 3 electron to complete its previous shell's octet. So it will lose 3 electrons. So its state will be plus 3, plus 3. Now where the electrons have gone? Nowhere. They are just revolving around this aluminum plus 3. Here 3 electrons. It has lost 3 electrons. And it has also lost 3 electrons, and these electrons are revolving around them. Okay, and they are, due to their opposite charge, they are not going anywhere, and this aluminum is known as kernel. So attraction between kernel and electron make a metallic bond. I hope it is clear how the metallic bond is made. The metallic atoms, as they are metallic atom, they have tendency to lose electron. Those electrons will revolve around those kernels, and due to the opposite charges, they will help each other. So this is called metallic bond. So what about this covalent solid? Definitely they will have covalent bonds. Covalent bond. Done. And what about this molecular solid? Molecular solid actually are those solids which are very soft in nature. They are not very hard. Why? Because the force of attraction between the two atoms are not such a strong that can hold two atoms very tightly and very rigidly with each other. So what is the weakest force of attraction? We have studied in class 11. That is van der Waals force of attraction. Van der Waals force of attraction. Force of attraction. See, van der Waals force of attraction has many criteria, different criteria also. One category is dipole-dipole interaction, London dispersion force, dipole-non-dipole interaction. So that I am going to also discuss when I am going to show a tabular structure difference between all these solids from NCERT. And right now I am just giving a preview or just a simple small idea. Again I will explain it. Next is third property, melting point and boiling point. See, ionic solid have very strong electrostatic force of attraction. That's why the melting and boiling point is going to be very high, very high. Then it is a metallic. Again, the attraction between kernel and electron is quite strong. So it is also having a high melting and boiling point. Covalent. There are many covalent bond. I can cite you example like diamond. So diamond has very high melting point. So it is very high. And the last is molecular solid. Right now what I told, in molecular solid the force of attraction is van der Waals force of attraction, and this is compared one of the most weakest force of attraction. So the boiling point here will be, melting point here will be quite low because the atoms are not bonded very strongly with each other. Fourth property is conductance. That means how they conduct electricity. See, here is one trick, that the ionic solid conduct electricity when they are in molten state. Why? Because when they are in solid state, the positive and the negative ions are held very strongly with each other. So there is no free ion. Electricity is conducted by free ions and by electrons. When I don't have electron and also not having any ions, how the conductivity will be possible? So when they are molten state means there is a less force of attraction between two constituent particle of ionic solid. So now they are little bit free to move, and when they will move, they will conduct electricity. In metallic, conductance state is quite high. Why? Because electrons are flowing. They are flowing very freely. So when electrons are free to move, electricity will flow. They will conduct electricity. And in non-metals, since in non-metal, for example, I am giving CCl4, carbon tetrachloride. Carbon has a tetravalency and its tetravalency is shared by chlorine. Is there any electron? Do you find which is free? There is no electron free. And they are not in ionic state. There is no positive and negative ion because the electrons are shared with each other. So when there is no ions and no electron, how the conductivity is possible? So conductivity here is quite low. Same is for van der Waals force of attraction. Conductivity is very low. I hope you got a little bit of idea. Next, I will discuss it from NCERT. Because NCERT is our god book, we should know that. So ionic solid, its constituent particle is ions, just now what I told. Force of attraction, just a minute. Ions, force of attraction is electrostatic. That also I have discussed. Physical nature, ionic solid, as the force of electrostatic force of attraction is very strong, they are very hard, but they are brittle in nature. Hard but brittle in nature. Conductivity in molten state, in aqueous state, and melting point is very high. Now the important thing is, along with this property, examples are very important. In CBSE exam, sometimes your examples are given and you have been asked, tell me which kind of solid it is. So you should know the example. NaCl, MgO, magnesium oxide, zinc sulfide, calcium fluoride. So these are ionic. Next is metallic solid. Metallic solid, just now I explained that the metal ions has a tendency to lose electrons and electrons move here and there. That's why there is a strong force of attraction between the kernel and the electrons. They have metallic bond, and the example, all the metals which have tendency to lose electron, iron, copper, silver and magnesium. Physical nature, all metals we know they are malleable, they are ductile, they have good conductivity, same thing. And melting point is fairly high, quite high. Next is covalent solid. Covalent solids, they are composed of atoms. They will have covalent bonding. And the covalent examples, bonded solid bond, covalent solids example are quartz, diamond, okay, and they are hard in nature, but they are insulated. Why they are insulated? This question is very tricky and important. Why covalent solids are insulated though they are hard? Because they don't have free ions, either free electrons which can conduct electricity. But melting point is very high because they are quite strongly bonded. Now come to the molecular solid. Molecular solid, we have said that its constituent particles are molecule. That is fine. Now the molecules have three categories: non-polar, polar and hydrogen bond. What kind of force of attraction does the molecular solid have? Van der Waals force of attraction. But van der Waals force of attraction again has some categories. What categories? Like dispersion force or the London force, dipole-dipole interaction, hydrogen bonding. So molecular solid also has all these criteria. When molecular solids are composed of molecules of non-polar nature, non-polar means they don't have polarity. Polarity like CCl4, carbon and chlorine, when they are bonded, that is a pure covalent bond. So there is net dipole moment. Net dipole moment, I hope you all know that you have studied from class 11. So net dipole moment is completely zero. So they are non-polar in nature. So in case of non-polar molecules, what kind of force? Dispersion and London force. This is the weakest force of attraction between two molecules, not within a molecule. Keep that in mind. I am talking about the force of attraction between two molecules, between two ions, between two metallic kernels, and between two atoms. So the molecules, within a molecule, they are strongly held, but two molecules are held by London force, which is very weak. That's why they are easy to cut, because they are soft. And as there are no ions and electrons, so they are insulated, and melting point is very low. And those who are molecules are polar, they have dipole-dipole interaction, because polar means they will have dipole moment, like HCl. If I show you HCl, how HCl is a polar molecule, HCl. See, this is highly electronegative, and this is compared to hydrogen, compared to chlorine, hydrogen is less electronegative. So this shared pair of electron have a tendency to move towards the chlorine. So chlorine will have more negative charge, more delta negative, and hydrogen will have more delta positive. So here a positive field is created, here is a negative field is created. This is called polar. So these molecules are polar in nature. Next is hydrogen bond. Hydrogen bond is very important. It is also very strong. Like in water, we have seen when water crystallized to ice, it became very hard. Again, it is insulator and melting point is low, because hydrogen bond comes under what? Van der Waals force of attraction, and van der Waals force of attraction is itself weak. So whatever the category of van der Waals force will come, they will be also weak. Among the weakest, hydrogen is strong, but then also it is weak. That's why it has low melting point. So my dear student, the examples are very important. Keep that in mind, and I have discussed thoroughly. I am going to show you some pictures also. So let's have the pictures. Just quickly, I'm just revising so that you can get the little bit more picture memory in your mind in future also, so that you can. So this is the types of crystalline solid. Just now I told ionic, it is the interaction between two ions. Metallic, this is the kernels. Metal, after losing the electron, they became electropositive, and the electrons are moving here and there. And then is covalent bond, like diamond, strongly held with each other by sharing electrons. And molecular solid, so this is example of hydrogen bond that we see easily in water. But apart from that water, hydrogen bond, there are other also forces acting between the molecular solid. Those all forces come under van der Waals force of attraction. Okay. And then the properties also I have explained. In non-polar molecular solid, by physical, they are soft. They are insulator of electricity. They have very low melting point. Intermolecular forces of attraction is London force or dispersion force, which is the weakest among all, which comes under van der Waals force. Example is argon. Argon is a noble gas. CCl4, H2, CO2. Polar. Just now I give an example of polar, that is HCl. They are also soft because they comes under molecular solid. Insulator of electricity, low melting point, and the force of attraction is dipole-dipole interaction. Okay. Now comes hydrogen bonded. See, hydrogen bond will give physical structure hard, but it is not stable. With a very low temperature, it will melt because it is strongest among the weakest people. And the weakest peoples comes under van der Waals force of attraction. Among all the forces of van der Waals force of attraction, hydrogen bond is most strongest. That's why they give the molecular hardy structure. But again, they are insulator. They don't have free ions. They don't have free electrons. Melting point is low, and the force of attraction is hydrogen bonding. An example is water. When it is in ice form, don't take it in a liquid and gaseous form. Only when it is in ice form. So today's topic is done. And what I have given you in last class, let's discuss it. See, I have asked this question, classify the following as amorphous or crystalline solid. So let's check out your answer with me. Crystalline solid and amorphous solid. See, naphthalene is a crystalline solid. Amorphous is polyurethane. Then benzoic acid is crystalline, Teflon is amorphous solid, potassium nitrate is crystalline solid, cellophane is amorphous solid, copper, see, you can ask me, ma'am, how copper is a crystalline solid. Just now I discussed that in crystalline solid, metallic bond also exists. So copper will have metallic bond. That's why it also comes under crystalline solid. And in amorphous, polyvinyl chloride. And another is fiberglass. And also we have discussed that the quartz is a crystalline solid, whereas amorphous is a fiberglass. So this much is for today. I hope you have got what I have discussed today. So let's see you in next lecture. Till then, thank you. Stay safe.